Here are your Crüe NFC Roundtable Week 4 highlights.
Yeah, that was a bit lengthy highlights this week. How's everyone doing this morning?
Good, man.
Right on.
Mediocre at best.
What's that?
It's a mediocre at best.
So, what was your big surprises from last week? I mean, other than the Bucs wetting the bed, what was the big takeaway you guys had? Kind of shocked the Eagles are still undefeated myself.
Yep. My biggest shock that I actually got all pick six right. That's probably
I did see that. You got to let your white pick next week too.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, who got all six correct? Who went 6-0?
Katie. So what's with this Cooper Rush kid, man? I mean, he's
all right. Go.
He's making Dak Prescott look terrible, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's making him look terrible. You're going to be like one of those too, huh?
Yeah. I mean, you got to be happy. Got your second-string quarterback in, and he's leading you to victories. What more can you ask for?
Nothing really, man. I've liked him since they had him. It's just it always looked like it took him a little while to develop and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, but he's been on the practice squad forever and then bouncing around from different teams. So,
I mean, Andy, you take Cooper Rush right now in Chicago, ain't it?
No, we're gonna go undefeated from this point on.
Right on. So, Justin Fields, what grade do you give him first 4 weeks of the season?
So the question is similar to that has been posed actually within the last 24, 48 hours, probably about 24 hours or so like that. And so, it's very difficult to actually give like a grade per se if you're going like A, B, C, that kind of thing. Currently, I would probably give him somewhere in the neighborhood of like a G minus.
A G minus for
With that being said, there is, I guess you could say there is some room for improvement, and to say the very least. So, for example, once he starts actually seeing the field, pun intended, once he actually starts to make better decisions in general, and unfortunately now with Cody Whitehair going down with an injury, his offensive line is going to be a little bit shaky, certainly for the first few weeks. So it's going to be one of those things where he would have an opportunity to get from like a G minus to maybe a solid H. But we'll see how it goes.
The play call's not really helping him too much. I mean, from what I see, it's just I feel like it's the same playbook as last year.
Two things I read about. So first off, about that very subject. So they want to kind of sort of I don't want to say dumb it down, but they want to make it as simplistic as possible. Look, you have 2, possibly 3 options before you run. Look, run. If that being the case, so because in the NFL you only have literally seconds to make a decision. So if you have no separation with some of your receivers from your DBs, things like that, with your secondary, that's going to be a bit of an issue. If you unfortunately don't have the opportunity to be able to see and start running and moving around and stuff like that, you don't have that opportunity either. So one of the reasons why they said it's well, I read, I don't know how correct it is, but very simply they said keeping it simple, allowing him to kind of sort of playground it, basically, to be able to see the field in his own way and then make a play accordingly.
Yeah. I mean,
it makes sense. It's probably about as much sense as you can possibly make out of the mediocre play over the last month.
what sucks for the Bears is you really can't make it a half read. You know what I mean by that? You like X, Y, you eliminate Z over here. You can't do that because their offense, they don't have the X, Y. They don't have the 2 receivers. Mooney, I thought for sure was going to explode this year as number 1, and he just hasn't. And Cole Kmet,
well,
non-existent though.
Well, we'll go back to Mooney. I mean, he's done well as far as like individual, catches and things like that. But as our 49er friend would say, there's not a whole lot of yakking after the fact. So, if you have the opportunity to be able to catch a ball in stride, you could do some things. Justin Fields has the arm. He doesn't necessarily have the time, but he does have the arm to be able to get it down there, 30, 40, 50, 60 yards.
Yeah.
It's the whole yards after is a bit of an issue. Cole Kmet, unfortunately, at this point, one has something to do with the other. How they're all intertwined. So you have no time with the offensive line. You have bad decision-making potentially from Justin Fields. You cannot see your third or fourth being probably a fourth option to Cole Kmet for, a good 5, 10, 8-yard gain, whatever the case is. So
yeah.
It's unfortunate. It's tragic, but it will eventually turn around.
Well, before we get too bored with the Bears talk, we want to just jump into the NFC North and get it going, or Mike, you got anything to add to this?
No, I'm
awesome. We'll go NFC North.
I'm watching. The Packers scored.
What's the score?
10-0.
Green Bay's losing?
No, Green Bay's winning 10-0.
They're playing. They're playing already. They're
playing in London. Yeah, it's 10-0. They just scored against the small people from New York.
Yeah, the Giants have nobody today either. They're really wounded. But anyway, let's kick it north. All right, Andy. Let's start with that Green Bay game if you can. Do you have that in front of you already, or?
For the most part, I forgot that they were actually playing right now, and in fact, I got the Packers beating the Giants in the pick 6.
Pick 6. Okay, let me just run through the Giants' injuries because it's pretty ridiculous. Their backup quarterback Tyrod Taylor's out. Kenny Galladay's still out. Kadarius Toney's out. Wan'Dale Robinson's out. That's their first 3 wide receivers. It looks like they got a case of buckitis. Cordell Flott, their cornerback, is out. Mondo, their defensive tackle, and Aziz Jalari is out, their linebacker. Green Bay is coming in fairly healthy. Nobody's listed as out. Devontae Wyatt was questionable. Adrian Amos and Tyreek Carpenter, their safeties, were both listed as questionable. So that's all they got. And like Mike said, they're already out 10-0. But the Giants don't even have a chance in this game.
Oh, they're moving the ball now. As soon as I started running my mouth, they started. Now they're moving the ball.
Yeah, but if Green Bay plays their potential, I don't see anyone in the NFC East beating them.
NFC North.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize Brian was back.
Yeah, here we go.
But this is another boring game, I think. I think you're going to see the Green Bay Packers just annihilate the Giants today.
See, that's the thing. I think because of because even though the Bears ended up losing last week, it was a pretty physical game. So you're right; they are beat up. It is kind of a half week for them because they leave for Europa so early that now here it is noon, 1 o'clock over there, whatever the 6-hour difference is, and here it is 10 o'clock, Eastern time. And they're in the middle of the ball game, and I completely forgot about that. But with it being such a physical game last week, I think you're absolutely right. I think the Packers do have an opportunity to be able to kind of cruise into a victory. But any given Sunday, even in a different country, continent, you never know. So,
right on.
Yeah. But as far as injuries, you want to go with Green Bay? You're absolutely right. There's very few. You have a couple of questionables. It's good to see that Bakhtiari is actually. He's on the list technically, but there's nothing as far as anything.
Playing well. He was one of the highest rated tackles in the league last week. So, I mean, hasn't missed a beat. Gone 2 years, hasn't missed a beat.
Yeah, it's like jumping on a bike. You just have to worry about his game conditioning, and that'll eventually come. So, it's just going to be one of those things where you have, again, it's like a perfect storm. The Bears at the time was a perfect storm to go into Green Bay and beat Green Bay, which unfortunately they lost by, a couple, came up a little bit short. So this is one of those things where I think if Green Bay can actually play their game, because, you do have a couple of their wide receivers, Lazard, of course, he's playing, and some of the other players that you have an opportunity to be able to get in relatively unscathed for next game. So we'll definitely see how that works.
All right, what's next on your docket for your NFC teams? There's a couple NFC North teams playing each other, but I figure you'd want to cover them last you can cover.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. We can certainly stay NFC North and go all Bears all the time. That's cool. So transaction-wise, the Lions were, I don't want to say busy, however, you had three major, I guess you'd say major. Lions, of course, they waived kicker Austin Seibert. Detroit Lions quarterback A.J. Parker and wide receiver Maurice Alexander to the active roster from the practice squad. And the Lions, of course, placed Quintez Cephas, the wide receiver, on reserve injured list. Now, as far as the injury report,
the
Detroit
they've got a ton.
You're looking at major issues here. From Cephas, of course, being out, DJ Clark, wide receiver, John Comiskey, defensive end, Charles Harris, defensive end, Matt Nelson, offensive tackle, DeAndre Swift, running back. All of them are out. Then you have the list of questionables. Everything from Chris Board, Evan Brown, Jonah Jackson, Josh Reynolds, and, of course, our friend Mr. St. Brown, all questionable. What on earth is going on in Detroit?
It's I don't even know how to say this. They got bit hard by the injury bug, but DeAndre Swift being out is going to hurt them bad. He's a lot of their offense. Armon St. Brown, if he doesn't, Armon Ra St. Brown, however you say it, if he doesn't go, he's taking a lot away from your receiving core. Detroit's got a tough task traveling New England to play anyway. Can they win? Yeah, their defense keeps them in games usually, but will they win? Probably not. They're the Detroit Lions. But, I mean, they're close every week.
Amon-Ra. That's one name. That's his first name. Just clarification is all.
Amon-Ra. There you go.
And then St. Brown, of course, is
Well, I thought it was
So-
Amon-Ra Street Brown. I just not good.
Oh,
I actually had to go online to make sure that wasn't, Amon-Ra Street Brown. No, you're absolutely right. Now, here's the other thing here. They are playing the New England Patriots, and they have some issues also. You have, of course, Lawrence Guy, defensive end. He's actually out. Brian Hoyer, quarterback. He's unspecified. DeMarcus Mitchell, defensive end.
Yeah, he's got a
concussion
concussion.
protocol. He's out.
Yep.
That's actually going to make an impact for sure. John Roos Smith, defensive end. He's doubtful, questionable. Kyle Duggar, Mac Jones, doubtful.
Because I thought he had good potential to be a backup in the league. So he's going to prove his wares today. He started well last week. He didn't do too bad in being thrown into the mix. But coming off the sideline as a starter is a completely different story. You got to really, really know what's going on. You can't just go out there and run on adrenaline. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Whereas coming in as a starter, you're responsible. You're the one. So
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I understand that he is, in fact, the solid number 2. However, even when you get Mac Jones back, it's going to be one of those things where, you don't have like a Kirk Cousins. Wait, that's a bad example.
is it a Drew Bledsoe? Drew
No.
Bledsoe, Tom Brady situation?
no.
You never know. You never know. That A-Rod in Green Bay, he was a solid number 2. Now he's definitely a solid number 2. Anyway, but he had to wait his turn, and once he got his turn, he's had, I guess, some success.
But who you got in this game? I think Patriots win even with their backup.
Got the Patriots winning, huh? I would say probably, yeah. That's definitely going to be a possibility since Detroit is essentially the Walking Dead. They have so many injuries; it's just insane.
Yeah, their offense is really hurt right now.
Mm-hmm. You move a little bit further north to Minnesota.
Oh,
They didn't really do a whole lot. They signed Miles Dorn to active roster, placed defensive end Bell Ellefson on reserve injured, elevated wide receiver Dan Chesna, and tight end Nick Muse for practice squad 2, of course, the roster. Now, injury report is going to be a little bit on the different side. And what makes this so interesting is it will, in fact, go into the final 40 minutes of the show, which would be about the Bears.
Yeah.
So you've got really 2 questionables. Andrew Booth, cornerback, quad, he's questionable, and of course, friend Mr. Naylor, wide receiver with a hamstring, he's also questionable. You can see certain positions with the Bears are starting to improve. They haven't gotten to that point where they're going to be lockdown type corners and things like that, but you're starting to see some flashes.
Yeah, that water boy's starting to get that water out there pretty quick for the Bears. He's looking good.
he's got a name.
Well, Dak actually gave him some pointers on that over the last month.
It's Chris Conti.
Wow.
But, so the Bears might get David Montgomery back today, yeah?
It's questionable. Literally, he's questionable on the injury report. I'm thinking yes, but even if he's not necessarily playing per se, he is going to have an impact. Good blocker. He might be that release valve, and he is kind of that safety net for Justin Fields because they do have that working relationship. So we'll definitely see how that works. But so unspecified, you got a hamstring for Matthew Adams, Dane Cruikshank, defensive back, questionable. Ryan Griffith, tight end, unspecified. Jalen Johnson, doubtful. That's actually going to be one of the ouchies because he's actually starting to really come along.
Yeah, he's still nursing that quad from last week.
Yeah. So you got Jalen Jones and Justin Jones, both unspecified. David Montgomery is questionable. And, of course, Sterling Weatherford, the incomparable Sterling Weatherford, is, in fact, unspecified as well.
Anyway.
So, but this game is going to be kind of interesting. Unfortunately, I actually don't necessarily see the Vikings winning this one at all.
Here we go.
Vikings win. I picked them. They're winning.
Who is?
They're winning every game. Yeah, the Vikings are working. I picked them in pick 6. They're going to win. Watch. It's not going to be pretty, but they're going to win.
Well, the Bears did actually cut the kicker, Badgley, or whatever his name is, after he scored all 12 points against the Giants. Cool, thanks. I appreciate that. Don't let the door hit you.
Yep.
What, what was the point of that?
Apparently, they needed that kicker for that day.
I mean, they didn't have a kicker on the injury report, so there was no reason for him. You know what I mean? Why cut a kicker? It doesn't save you much money. He was all your points last week. Are you freeing up space for somebody else? Do you have a defensive back on your roster that can kick field goals? I mean, the Bears aren't getting in the end zone anytime soon, so they got to rely on the kicker. What are they doing?
So, in a word, what makes it kind of interesting is the fact that you would hope that they would either put him on the practice squad in the event that something like that happened again, or that he comes, he jumps up with a different team just simply because obviously he can kick. He had plenty of practice, last week. Unfortunately,
It's
with all those extra points he had to kick.
It's not like the Bears have let a kicker move to greener pastures, and he's done really well in San Francisco.
I know that's what I'm saying. Ever since then, they've been the kickers have lost some game, and now they finally find somebody that could get them some points, and they're like, nope, you're too good for us. It's time for you to go. We need somebody to hit the upright.
They're actually trying to get Kevin Butler out of retirement.
So I'm gonna have to start calling you Dak Jr. and you. I'm just gonna keep calling you Butthead.
Fair enough.
But I see the Bears, probably finally coming out of their funk and scoring at least a touchdown you know what? It might be an offensive onslaught where they score 2 field goals as well. Who knows?
Let's be
realistic.
What do you got here? I got Vikings by 12.
I see. I didn't realize that we were drinking this early in the morning. Okay.
You can't drink all day unless you start drinking in the morning.
Bears are hiding open tryouts for kickers to see who can hit the most uprights. How do you block a No, but yeah, unfortunately, I do see the Bears actually kind of sort of falling a little bit short on this one. Injuries are just through the roof a little bit. Key positions in positions that they don't necessarily have the 2 and 3 stringers to be able to cover.
Yeah.
In particular, their secondary, that's going to actually hurt. With Minnesota being relatively injury free, I think they're going to, unfortunately. And then you of course have, who's that running back out there in Minnesota?
Oh, some guy's cooking.
Yeah,
not Russ, because Russ ain't cooking. It's Dalvin.
The one last point about the Bears. Unfortunately, even with last week, for example, you had guys that were just grossly out of position, over pursuing. I mean, when Jones ran in for that touchdown during the highlight, for example, there was really within 3 to 5 yards. You had nobody within 3 to 5 yards.
Yeah.
That over pursuit absolutely killed them. So hopefully they can get all of that stuff squared away. They'll get their offensive line squared away, and in the very, very near future, we're going to have success. Unfortunately, this week, they will, in my opinion, fall short. I hope I'm wrong.
Well, I hope you're right. All right. So you want to go next, Mike? You want me to go next? Well, we'll make Jerry go next. Jerry, you're next.
Yeah, we could do that. We don't have to hear nothing.
NFC West.
They suck. Let's move on.
Right.
Here we go.
So, Seahawks face the Saints. Nope. Let's just go to the East. No, I'm just playing. Drake Young's out. Godwin, running back Kevin Walker, and Justin Coleman are questionable. For the Saints, can't believe it, but Michael Thomas is out again. change his nickname from Can't Guard Mike to Can't Play Mike, and we'll all be set. They're going to be without offensive tackle Thackerson, cornerback P.J. Walker, and defensive end Peyton Turner. Jameis is doubtful to play. That means you got the ginger slinger in the pocket, the red rifle, Andy Dalton. Do the Seahawks have what it takes to knock off the Saints without their starting quarterback?
I don't know. The juggernaut, which is Seattle.
Geno Smith.
Oh, we're not going to do that again, are we?
I mean, it's hard. It's hard for me to be. I mean, I want the Saints to lose so bad because every time the Saints lose, no matter what else happens in the league, I'm a happy man.
I don't know. Tom Brady has lost quite a bit this past week.
I don't even know what you're talking about. But
so I see the Saints probably, quite possibly, conceivably, perceivably. I don't know. I think they're going to find a way to lose. Seattle might actually come in and be able to, hey, you know what? We're going to wake up. We're going to wake up a little bit. It's a strong possibility, but I would, if given, hey, who you got? I would say the Saints, but I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle. So, and Dalton's actually a pretty good quarterback. The last year when he was with this one team that we all know and love. The offense was just spotty at best. So,
Andy Dalton doesn't make many mistakes, but when he does, it's usually in the big game, and it usually costs you.
Yep.
Get him to the playoffs, he folds under pressure. You get him on the bright lights, he folds under pressure.
He folds under pressure.
Fields.
No, folds.
He feels under pressure.
No, Dalton folds. You said folds, Folds, but it sounds like FOLES.
Yeah, but it also sounds like Fields if you take out the O, and he Justin Fields under pressure as well.
So Fields folds under pressure?
Anyway. So I have the Saints winning. I don't see any real way around that. And then you got the Niners going into Carolina again. Panthers are a dumpster fire at best. They're going to be without their starting wide receiver Snell, their tight end Sullivan, and their cornerback Thomas Oliver. While the Niners don't have anybody healthy, I think right now they could field the high school team and still take care of the Panthers. Niners have, 6-7 players out. Both their tackles are out, Williams and McKivitz. Both their defensive tackles out, Armstead and Kinlaw. And their nickelback Moore is out as well. Davis Price, their running back, is out. But the Niners pretty much got Jimmy G, and according to Jerry, that's all you need. So,
well, we all know Jerry is not necessarily,
sober, coherent, alive,
all there.
But he is right. The Niners defense is what's going to carry him through. They'll probably be solid till week 8. I don't see them really struggling.
The defense can only do so much throughout the season. I mean, eventually it's going to wear on them.
Dude, Jimmy G is only 2 yards away from not stepping out of the end zone.
Yeah.
And 2 yards away from winning the Super Bowl. And 2 yards away from winning the NFC Championship. But he's rich. His contract keeps getting better and better. Worst contract in the NFL for the Niners. Best contract in the NFL for Jimmy G.
He's like the Bobby Bonilla of the NFL. Getting paid to do nothing.
Yeah.
No, the Panthers are actually kind of interesting in the fact that, it's one of those things that you need one thing. Maybe with them you might need a handful of things. But if you have those handful of things to bring it all together, for example, as long as they can work on their offense, defense, secondary, special teams, and things like that, they're going to be a heck of a team. You get all those squared away, they're going to be a heck of a team. This may be the game where they get it all together and actually come out with a victory. I really doubt it. Because of some of the reasons why you in fact said, you have one quarterback who all the players rally around because they like old Jimmy G. You do have a decent running back out there. You got an offensive line that, although battered, you still have guys who are always coming in and out and this, that, the other. So I think San Francisco's going to certainly win, but the Panthers might actually have a decent showing. You never know.
I do, and they won't. As much as I hate the Niners winning, they'll probably pull this one off.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah, I saw the film. We had it playing a couple times on the back of the show any given Sunday, but still.
Yeah. No.
See it happening.
Yep.
There's another game in the West, but it kind of overlaps into Stout's territory. So we can just move down there or over there. We'll go to the NFC East. There's two of them, actually. I forgot.
Now I could finally say it. And I know I usually don't say stuff until after 6 games. But as of right now, the NFC East is the best. Oh, here we go. You're going to leave me in all by myself. All right. Thanks there, Mike.
All right. NFC East.
And that angle from the nose up.
You got a couple bats in the cave, brother.
Yeah.
But anyway.
That's why you shouldn't do post-ups on me. I told you that earlier. I'm surprised everything's still working. So NFC East is the best division right now in the NFC.
Are they the best division, or are they just a group of mediocre teams that no one is better than?
Hey, first of all, I don't care what it says. The records speak for itself right now.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm asking a serious question. Is it the fact that they're so close, talent-wise or whatever, that no one is distinctively better than the other? Or is it the fact that they're actually a tougher division and we'll find that out in playoffs?
We're going to find that out soon enough. I mean, basically, tonight's going to be a good opening to see where everything stands. Well, I mean, with the Rams and the Cowboys playing. We're going to see tonight. Yeah, and we're going to see. I think the Eagles stay undefeated. I think they, which is surprising to me that they're still undefeated. But I do remember talking beforehand that this was going to come down to the Eagles and the Cowboys before we all started this season. Who was going to win the NFC? I was kind of worried about what I'm seeing, but usually I don't say nothing until after 6 games, because after 6 games you can start seeing what you need to see. But I don't know. Tonight's going to be a good game. I don't know. I'm not going to pick who's going to win between the Rams and the Cowboys. I'm not. I want them to win, but I just don't see them winning in LA. I just don't see them winning. But
on the plus side there, Stafford's not playing extremely well. So
No.
you do have that.
Well, and I mean, going with the injury report, looking at both sides, they're about the same with their injuries. I mean, besides now, CeeDee Lamb's got a hamstring injury. And so does Tony Pollard. They both have dealing with hamstring injuries. I don't know how much that's going to affect them. And then Peters goes. He did something to his chest earlier in the week, and now he's doubtful to play. Which
I heard he's out.
Yeah, so I mean, he was rotating in with, I'm not going to say his name because you always tick me off when you say it wrong. So
come on, Conor
McGovern coming in and starting, and they've been putting Peters in, all different ways. So, and oh God.
No, but for real. But you look at the Rams. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm just looking at everything, and then like dealing with the starters, and I consider Tony Pollard a starter because he ends up going in for about half the game. So then you're looking at Jordan Lewis. He's one of our starting corners. He's banged up.
Yep.
Questionable. Well, yeah, I mean, he's questionable. But the biggest thing that worried me out of all this, I mean, Peter's going out dead, but our long snapper, I mean, everybody talks about everything else, but special teams, our long snapper's out. Like, he's done. Like, he was on the injured reserve, and he's done. So they're going to have a whole new guy coming in long snapping, and hopefully that works out for us and we don't have any mistakes there.
That's actually one of the most skilled, non-skilled positions on the field. Long snapping is not an easy task. I've done it. I know you've done it. I don't know if Andy's actually done it or not, but it's not fun.
No.
Successfully? A couple of times.
Yeah. I mean, I used to snap for punts. I think Stout snapped for extra points and punts at one season. It's just not – it's not easy, and everyone thinks it's just this guy slinging the ball between his legs, but it's a real skill to be able to get that ball back there with the right velocity and hit the right spot at the right time. And that's definitely going to hurt because now you're in field goal range and you got to have a snapper that can get the ball down or get the ball to your holder fast enough to where your holder can get it down and get the kick off in time. You're looking at maybe losing 5 to 7 yards just off bad snap time.
Well, yeah, and then you got – I mean, if you're looking at it like Dallas has a decent kicker that could kick the ball 50-plus yards. So if we get in that position where we got to kick a field goal and it's not even a half a second.
Yeah, but you're looking at 5 to 7 yards.
It's blocked.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest worry this week. I mean, that and, CeeDee Lamb going up against Jalen Ramsey, and he'll be following him all over the field. So now but Noah Brown showed that he could actually do what he needs to do finally. So, and
you look at the Rams, they lose their interior line. Their center Brian Allen's out, David Edwards, their guard is out, and Coleman Shelton is out as well. So your interior line is basically out for the Rams.
Yeah.
So I mean, Cowboys defense isn't anything to laugh at.
So, well, let me ask you this real quick. You still have that Cup kid out there, don't you?
Yeah, he's pretty solid.
Yeah.
So if you have that receiver going against the secondary, even the interior, because I've seen Dallas actually drop a lot of linebackers in coverage too. But who do you think is going to win that matchup?
I'll go back to saying this. Matthew Stafford is not playing well right now. And if you get him flustered and you have one of the best blitzing linebackers in the league coming at him straight to his face.
Yeah, I mean, and granted, you do have an offensive line that is actually banged up on his side. But if he does have, let's just say you got that extra half second that he can get it to Cup, several different other receivers. I mean, do you see the secondary of Dallas being able to actually cover the offense of the Rams?
Well, you got Diggs, right? He's probably going to be isolated with Cup most of the game.
Well, and that's what I'm wondering if they're going to pull – because Ramsey's going to be on CeeDee Lamb the whole time. The Rams do it all the time. Yep. Dallas doesn't really do that much, so they don't send Diggs out.
I think you're forced to this week because your weak side corner, Jordan Lewis, is questionable. So you're really putting someone that's got a groin injury on the number one receiver in the league. I don't know if you do that. You might see a lot of zone, but if I were the defensive coordinator, I'd shadow him all day.
It's Dan Quinn too, so you don't know what he's got planned half the time when he comes
up. I don't think
he
knows half the time.
He doesn't either.
No. I mean, he's a great defensive coordinator. Head coach, he wasn't that good, but as a defensive coordinator, he's probably one of the best in the league. But we also got Anthony Brown that we put in, and he just,
dude,
he can't. If he Cup gets on Anthony Brown, you might just almost put it up. If Stafford's got time to throw the ball, it's a touchdown.
You put Anthony Brown on the field, you might as well get someone from the stands another jersey and put him in the seat.
Yeah,
he just watches the game. He's seen more a-holes and elbows than David Hasselhoff.
He's from that that favorite school here in Indiana that is in Lafayette.
For who?
Yeah,
West
you
Lafayette?
can't expect much from him. So I figured I'd put a dig in today for my wife.
Yeah. It is your anniversary, so you might as well get as many shots in as you can.
I can.
It's like it's like a get out of jail free card today, right?
I guess so. I mean, if we're gonna do that, I'd be like, hey, she was there when Drew Brees was playing. Never watched the game. Never went and watched the game one time. We'll just throw that out there.
Wow,
Hey, why not?
She's that old?
Huh?
That was Andy.
Yeah, that was Andy. That
I'm
was
just kidding.
Yeah.
So
You might get a visit down in Florida there, Andy.
we do have one more game that we got to cover, and that's the Philly Cards. You said you think Philly goes undefeated this year or undefeated this week still.
I think they're going to stay undefeated.
They're without their big offense tackle in Mailata. Patrick Johnson, the linebacker's out, and Avonte Maddox is out. But they're going against the Cards, and for some reason the Cards just can't put it together this year. One more week, I think, until the Cards get right, but I picked the Cards to beat them this week. I don't know why. I just had a feeling the Cards are going to pull an upset. Philly's been riding high on the hog, so hopefully this is a knockout game.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I like to see all the teams lose in the NFC East besides Dallas, but I don't think the Cardinals have it right now. I mean, they're sputtering around. I mean, it looks like their quarterback, like he don't know what he's doing. And I know he's getting pressure, but Kyle Murray don't look like he knows what the hell he's doing. Like, you'd figure he'd be a lot farther away, advanced.
Yeah, in his career at this point.
Yeah, like, especially the money that he's got. Like, it was like, hey, give me the money. All right, now I'm going to shit the bed, So
is it the fact that it's him, or is it the fact that he's without his weapon? I mean, Hopkins is still gone. You got one more week till DeAndre's back, and then I think you'll see a different offense entirely.
Yeah, we got
with the offensive line, though. That's the problem. So if he's still running from his for his life, that's going to be a thing for him. But let's just circle back real quick to your analogy. What? A-holes and elbows?
A-holes and elbows more than David Hasselhoff on Baywatch.
Yeah.
He's always the guy in the back. They did that on purpose. Anyway.
Really? No, I got it. It's just
I was going to say something else, but I'm trying to stay G-rated.
This is, in fact, coffee. This is nothing else. So your analogies are
A-holes and
solid
elbows.
number 2 for sure.
A-holes and elbows. Anyway. Time to go south?
No.
Yep. And it's time. We've covered most of the games already. Seahawks Saints, we already know that Thomas is out. Jameis is out. Andy Dalton's slinging. Jarvis Landry is questionable. AK-41 is questionable. I still have the Saints winning this game. We did cover San Fran Panthers.
I really think the good touch on that. I think Seattle wins as long as Metcalf gets to go poop before the game starts. I think he wins.
Tell me that wasn't funny. I was dying. Honest to God. I saw him sitting on the cart riding off the field. I'm like, oh my God, he's hurt. And then he just had to take a solid number 2 if Andy would. So, But like I said, we did cover San Fran, Carolina. San Fran's just too much for Carolina. And then we get to the good stuff.
Giselle.
That's the worst division in football. They hate the NFC South.
Okay, let's talk about what team has won the Super Bowl more recently. Andy, you go first.
That's history.
No,
I'm talking about right now. You're talking about history, though.
Oh, all right.
You like living in the past, even if it is
You're muted.
And he muted himself. That's the best part.
No, I did.
There's a lot going on down south. We got the issue with Brady's shoulder. How serious is the injury?
Yeah, Brady's shoulder.
Yes, Brady's shoulder.
More,
He also has an injured ring finger. But
Getting it ripped right off.
What's funny is he did injure his ring finger on his throwing hand. He also has another ring finger injury, and I think that one might be playing a little more part in the media than it is on the field, but we won't dive into that. The Bucs come into the game pretty much injury-free. You're without Cameron Brate, who's in concussion protocol. Hicks still has his plantar fasciitis, and Logan Ryan's out this week. All three receivers, Jones, Perriman, and Russell Gage, are questionable. For the Falcons, you've got Kyle Pitt out and Cordero Patterson on IR. So two of their main weapons on offense are going to be out of the game. The Bucs are creating almost 3 turnovers a game going up against the Falcons, who almost give the ball away at 2 turnovers a game. I don't want to say I see the Bucs winning because every time I say that, something bad happens. So I'm not going to say it.
So you're saying there's going to be 5 turnovers this game? Is that what you're saying?
I think if the Bucs don't create turnovers, they could lose this game. We're going to see how serious Brady's shoulder injury is. It kept him out of practice Wednesday. He did go down after that sack, slight separation of the shoulder. If it's very serious, you're going to see the Bucs run the ball a lot. You'll see him working the ball to the halfback on the swing pass a lot. But other than that, it's just going to be, can the Bucs find their identity on the defensive side of the ball? You go from being the number one ranked rush defense in the league last year, and this year you are leaking like a sieve. So something's got to be solved in that situation.
Let me ask you this real quick. Why don't they just this is in earnest, 100% in earnest. Why don't they sit Brady for a week or so?
I don't think that the offense could withstand that right now. We don't have a solid number 2, if you will. Blaine Gabbert, I think, could fill in a limited capacity to where, like, say, he had to come off the bench. And like I said, coming in as a starter is a completely different mentality than coming off the bench. He knows the offense. I mean, he might be able to do it, but he hasn't done it in years. So I guess that be the honest reason is they don't think they have the ability to set him. And why set him when you're still in the top of the division right now? But
so you don't see. What about long term? Let's say he gets sacked again once or twice. Next thing you know, instead of being out for only a week, now he's out for a month.
Right. No, I get it. And if that's the situation, Blaine Gabbert's going to be your starting quarterback. And then you'll have loose number 2 as your number 2 in Kyle Trask, who I doubt will see the field. I just don't think he is physically or mentally ready for that large a step.
So I will say that, like amongst us 3, for example, and if you compare us 3 with Tom Brady, I mean, he is, in fact, in slightly better shape. However, he is, also in his 40s. So I'm just saying, is that, even though he's in better shape, even though he takes care of himself very, very well, I'm just saying, is that going to be an nagging injury that's going to actually play out later in the season?
Yeah,
that'll be negative.
That's the issue, and that's one of my main concerns is how serious is the shoulder. The ring finger obviously wasn't that big a deal. It didn't seem to impact him last week because it went off for 358 yards, throwing the ball over 50 times. But that's not a recipe for success for the Buccaneers. You can't do that. You can't throw the ball that many times and expect to win a game. So, not that I want to be on my soapbox, but if the Bucs defense can create turnovers, can win on third downs, Bucs should win this game handily. If the Bucs offense can't win on first and second down, they don't have a shot offensively because they're struggling so bad on third down. I don't think this is a get-right game for them.
But you also have, traditionally speaking, who's actually come out on top? Matt Ryan, Tom Brady.
Well, Matt Ryan's gone. It's Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
I was trying not to go there.
Yeah, Marcus Mariota is the Falcons' starting quarterback.
I'm thinking that they should be able to bring him back because, if anything, I think Matt Ryan should be able to finish his career in Atlanta.
You know, all BS aside, Tom Brady is 10-0 against the Falcons all time, including the 28-3 comeback. The Bucs themselves are 4-0 against them since acquiring Brady. So only time will tell, but I don't think they lose this week. We'll see what happens.
I think with the injuries,
what's that, Mike?
I think the injuries with the Falcons are going to make it a lot easier for the Bucs to win.
Yeah, let's hope it goes that way the rest of the season.
I don't see that happening.
Yeah, you just hope that Brady's injury is not something a little bit letting on for sure.
Yeah, Brady's injury is definitely a concern.
Is he going to be able to get to, be able to throw to Evans so he could fall down and not get any yak? So, I mean, that's the biggest thing,
You are channeling your inner Jerry, ain't you?
I was going to say,
he's not here. I had to do it for him. So.
But anyway, time for pick 6. You guys ready?
No.
All right. All right.
You do realize there was footage of a pick 6 interception that's less than 4 minutes long, right?
Oh, there is. We have this one too. Look, that one was only 30 seconds.
There are several where Brian Urlacher was actually intercepting Ron and running into the end zone.
He did get tackled by Tom Brady.
What?
Yep.
No, seriously, what?
Yep.
Indeed.
All right then, Mike, you're top dog last week, so you want to go first? Or are we going to hold that so everyone can be in suspense to see who's going to lose or win? Did I say lose?
Yeah, whatever, man. I'll go first. I mean, I picked the Packers to win. They're playing now. They're up 17-10 right now, and they're moving the ball down the field, so that's a good thing. I got the Titans winning, Bills winning, Eagles winning, the Chiefs winning, and all year long this will be my pick. No matter what they play, just for my buddy, the Vikings are going to win out the rest of the season. So, just for my dad passed away a few weeks ago. Huge Vikings fan, and I thought he'd help me. I had to have Kirk Cousins as my quarterback, and he did. He helped me get 5 points. So, he did that shit on purpose. I know he did. He's probably laughing at me for doing it, but the Vikings will get picked every week this year for me, regardless of if I think they're going to lose. Just remember him.
Respect. I got you. Well, I got Brian's picks here. Brian's got the Bills winning, the Vikings winning, the Bucks winning, Chiefs winning, Jags winning, and Packers winning. And Jerry has – I don't think we should take Jerry since it came in so late. I think we should make him pick whatever we pick him, but he actually picks the Packers, Niners, Bucks, Chargers, Saints, and Jags. So, Andy, who you got?
We do, in fact, have the Packers over the Giants. You said the Packers are actually moving the ball right now, but the Giants might make it a little bit close, but the Packers are going to win. Bills over the Steelers. Can't exactly read my handwriting, but they're going to be losing. The Falcons are going to lose to them. So, Bucks.
Gotcha.
So you got the Rams going to be over the Cowboys.
Ooh.
I think it's going to be just one of those things. You don't have the deck coming in and coming in and quarterbacking the Cowboys, so I just have a feeling that they're going to come up a little bit short. 49ers over the Panthers. That's going to be a close one. Barn burner. And the Chiefs over the Chiefs over the Raiders.
All right. Well, mine are kind of close to what everyone else has. I got Arizona, the Vikings, the Cards, the Chiefs, Indy, and San Fran. You guys really didn't catch that?
Well, you were talking again. I usually block out.
No. Well, we can't pick Indy unless we pick it the night prior, and they already had won. So I tried to slide it in, but Brian called me out on it as soon as I put it in. So I got Tennessee. But closing thoughts, gentlemen?
Yep.
Thursday night games suck.
Every
Thursday night game has to suck, and next week's not going to be any better.
Thursday night is awful football. It's just
next
terrible.
Next week's going to be even worse.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is.
I mean, next week I think they went and drafted 2 Division II school teams to play, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they did.
Yeah, I think they were supposed to play Thursday at noon.
Is that Washington and Chicago next week?
Yeah.
Thursday night?
Yep.
Yeah. We all saw RG3's post.
Yeah.
Jerry's taking credits for other people's jokes.
And I think it's actually, I just don't think Russell Wilson, I think he's misunderstood. He's just as good as the guy with the 8 head that actually won a Super Bowl out in Denver. He's just as good, if not better. Scrambles better, just as smart. He doesn't throw any interceptions.
Oh, God.